All right. Welcome back to the 224 Incorporated channel. Doing something a little different today. I got my pop here with me. But the topic I'm going to be discussing with my pops, I love outside. Them niggas be playing ball aggressively for no reason, right?
You ain't no punk bitch.
Nah, you know some. Yo, before we get into the topic, right? Yo, why we at the work event? Niggas can't even get along at the work event. You got niggas talking about, I come out this shirt.
At the work event.
Now, granted, it's a off-site work event, so it's not like it's at work, but it's nothing but niggas that work here.
Right.
So it's like niggas can't just chill. Y'all niggas sitting here getting into arguments about dumb shit,
Right.
and then you see then the fucked up thing, right? Where I understood the nigga at one point. Some niggas just weren't minding their business. Like one nigga turned his whole seat around trying to interject. I'm like, you doing the wrong shit.
Yeah, mind your business.
Like you doing the completely wrong shit right now, bro.
Yeah, mind your business. You ain't supposed to say nothing, man. Let them people handle they candle. That's it.
Yo, whole time me and my homegirl just sitting there, we just talking about anime. I'm just sitting here hearing this shit. I'm like, I hope they can get this shit resolved. Like, there's only been two hookahs broke back here. I hope there's not a fight back here.
Yeah.
It's not even, cause but the hookahs was on the table. I think they had bought niggas a loose table. I'm like, there's only been two hookahs broke back here. I don't think a fight is needed right now.
So what was the argument about?
You know your son, I be minding my business. But it just seemed like it was just a miscommunication or some shit. From what I was hearing, that's what it seemed like. It honestly just seemed like a miscommunication or some shit. And maybe energy levels was too high from how a person came off. And maybe it just came off a certain way that just wasn't received respectfully. Or either came off weird in a sense. But from what I heard, it just seemed like a mass miscommunication.
You know when these niggas were on board of ed.
Not border ed, but they work. Niggas work together, so it's like if we work together, I don't think it needs to get to this type of level of disagreement.
Right.
But sometimes I think some people, when it comes to miscommunication, I understand it's annoying, but it don't have to go there. But
At a certain point when you're talking to someone or you're speaking to someone and they don't understand you, you should be aware that they don't understand.
yeah,
End the conversation right then and there. Like end it on a light note or, a polite note once you see that they can't comprehend where you're coming from. So
yeah, and I think people should at times like if the conversation, because I don't know, it just seemed like the conversation just wasn't going nowhere. Like, and when one person tries to end it, just respect that. Like, y'all ending it on neutral, even if it's not mutual ground. Just end the conversation so it don't gotta go no further.
pride and male ego.
Do
I saw that pride and male ego.
Do you think pride and male ego? Describe what pride and male ego is from your perspective.
Pride is like, when you know that you need something, but you have too much self, I say self worth, because pride is not a bad thing, but you have too much self worth to let somebody do something for you, or too much self worth to do something and be boastful about it, like prideful about it.
Now that
Ego,
mm,
ego is nobody can tell you nothing and you know everything. That's ego.
yeah,
That's ego. Like you just walk around like shit don't stink. You the best at anything. expectancy. Ego is like expectancy. The expectations you have with certain people. Your ego is like, you know. So with them two things right there, nah, it's a disaster waiting to happen. You'll find yourself arguing and fighting, or you'll find yourself just walking away from people like that. That have a that's prideful and have that ego. That has that ego. That ego is crazy.
Now relating it to the topic today, right? Because the topic that I was going to talk about today is sports a healthy space for black men in general, right? Because me and my coworker been having a discussion on like is sports a healthy space for black boys? Because like we both see, I see more positives, she see more negatives, and then I kind of just research it my own. But it's good that I have you here as my pops because you've been around longer. You kind of can see more of the effects more than I can. Also, beyond just like going off research.
Right.
So, like, would you say the sports environment breeds a healthy sense of pride or negative ego in black boys?
Now, it breeds a negative ego. Back then, it used to breed pride. Back then, basketball, it was a love for the game back then. Back then, people played with love, so it wasn't, pride wasn't frowned upon back then when you was playing ball. Because you took pride in, like, it was a team effort. It wasn't so much of an ego like it was just me. It's a team effort. And we did this. We did this for our city. Like somewhat of like it is now with the Knicks. You know, they're like, yeah, the Knicks did this for New York. That's how it was back then in those times when they did it for pride and not, you know, I'm that nigga. Felt by none of y'all. I'm not that nigga. Basketball is a team sport. So how you're that nigga without the team. But that's what it breeds now. But now they done incorporated so many things around the young players. Like they worry about what niggas saying on social media. And all it is people opinion. Ain't none of it facts. If you know it ain't true, don't worry about it. It's just somebody's opinion. Now unless it's a lie, that's something different. But mostly everything is somebody's opinion. It's criticism.
Do you think today's sports environment has a negative impact on the self identity of black men? And then I tell you what I read, what I saw.
Yeah, it do. Because if you have, well, we do have black people, black children in the community that wanna play ball and that's the new thing. But it's other things besides basketball that you can do. So it's like they pushing basketball as like the only thing black kids should do. They not pushing you to be a lawyer. They're not pushing you to be a doctor. They're not pushing you to be a Fortune 500 company owner. They're pushing you to be a basketball player.
And that kind of goes in. That plays into a lot on the race aspects of like why some black boys stray away from sports and why some boys do, and then some why many once they get to the professional level start to separate because you get caught within this in between of are you a representation or are you a stereotype?
Right.
And it's like not everyone wants to be a representation, and then not everyone who's not a representation is a stereotype.
Right.
So
Well, overall, you just can't be yourself no more. That's the big picture. You no longer you no more. Like you just said, either you're gonna be a representative or representation of the company, or you're gonna be a product of the company.
I summed it up.
You're just
into,
not gonna be you no more.
I summed it up into like it's like an identity crisis. And do you agree or disagree with this statement? Right? It becomes either I'm a black man who just so happens to be a great basketball player, or I'm a great basketball player that happens to be a black man.
It goes on what is discovered first. Your blackness or the game. At the end of the day, it's always going to be about your blackness. No matter how you try to shuffle it, it's always going to be about your blackness. Like Kanye said in the song, it don't matter if you're a nigga in a suit, 100,000, you still a nigga in a coupe. Like, it don't matter. It's still gonna be about your blackness. So, I say, yeah, I'm just a black man that know how to play basketball, because I could have been a black man that knew how to play tennis, black man that knew how to play baseball. No matter what, I'm still that black man. So yeah, I guess I'm the black man that just knew how to play basketball.
Do you think more young black men and more young black athletes go into it with that mindset and then leave with the mindset of I'm a basketball player that happens to be a black man? Or begin to operate from that standpoint? A basketball player first, black man second?
Depends on the mind, on the mental molding of the player. If the player feel like that was his destiny the whole time to be a basketball player, he's not thinking about the shade of his skin. He's just thinking about he accomplished his dream, regardless of what it was. He wanted to be, regardless of his color, regardless of his race, he just wanted to be a basketball player. You got Jeremy Lin, Chinese basketball player. Yao Ming, basketball player. Giannis, basketball player. It's like all these people is like different nationalities, but they all became basketball players. So he just wanted to be a basketball player. So for that, he's more free than the black man that happened to be a basketball player.
Because the black man that puts his blackness first takes more pride in it, so he has more care and responsibility than the one who put his profession above his identity.
Right. One put his profession, and one put himself. Right.
Would you say Kyrie Irving is an example of a black man who put himself before his profession? And the consequences of it came after?
But for this era, yeah. Yeah.
From your era, who would be that person? In basketball or football? Because and I say those two sports because those are the two primary sports. And you can listen to this stat. Those are the two primary sports where we make up 55% of...
What, basketball and football?
Yep, 55 and 56% of the overall rosters of these teams, but only 3% of the student populace.
Right. Because they don't want you to be educated. They want you to be a fucking athlete. They want you to be a fucking soldier. They want you to be a slave. They want you to obey. They don't want critical thinkers. And from how they shaping up the black youth right now, they trying to push them down the slope of sports is the easiest way out.
Yeah.
So everybody running in sports. Now knowing you got these niggas over here, they doing intelligent work. These are niggas that's keeping y'all stats. They ain't even on the court doing half of the shit y'all doing. They just sit in the back, just counting how many shots you miss, how many shots you hit, and marking it down. And getting paid more than you. So they don't want critical thinkers. They want yes men.
Do you think academic neglect, which is another pitfall that is like core to the negative sides of black boys in sports, do you think academic neglect is something that becomes comfortable for black athletes?
Depends.
Or is made comfortable for black athletes?
I think it's made comfortable. It's made comfortable because you only going to do something that you really allowed to do, and you only going to do something that you can get away with. So, yeah, they make it easy for them to do it. That's why they do it. Because if it was hard, they wouldn't do it. If it be like a penalty behind it, like serious penalty behind it, nobody would do that. That'd be number one priority, getting your academics up before you do anything. Before you even go anywhere, your academic level has to be at a certain standard. But now, they really don't care. They just care if this nigga can catch about 120 yards, if this nigga can throw 110 yards, can he dunk, can he shoot the three, can he bat 425 out the field? Like, that's what they don't care. They don't care if you're smart or not. They don't want you to be a critical thinker. They don't want you to do none of that. This way we want you to do this, what you want to do, right? You want to leave me? Come over here, do this right here.
And then do you think that forces more black boys to depend on sports for their identity?
Yeah. Because it gives them a sense of worth and what you call that? Celebrity status.
Admiration.
Not just admiration, but it gives them popularity. And it boosts their ego too. So it's like, it's a lot of things that come with that. Overall, the business of basketball for the black youth, it sounds good, and it is good because it did help a lot of black people out, a lot of black families. The only bad thing about it is that they make it so easy for you to forget about other things you can become in life besides a basketball player. And if you notice, all the basketball players that used to play ball, they commentators now.
Some of them businessmen. Like you see Shaq was able to navigate different avenues. LeBron navigates a lot of different avenues. Even Kevin Durant, I think he's a very
Kevin Durant did his thing.
He's a very varied
LeBron did his thing. The number one guy is Mike.
Because he expanded with the shoes.
Ain't nobody out doing Mike, man. I mean, Shaq got a lot of accolades.
I gotta give it to Shaq.
Magic Johnson has a lot of accolades too.
Yeah.
But just that sneaker deal.
Influence culture.
No, it's over.
And do you think that's a positive export from the culture of black boys
Nah,
playing
that's
sport?
negative because that influences certain things too. That comes with that brand. That brand boosts the ego. It boosts the you belong. It also promotes like you were supposed to. Like if you go somewhere and and you see somebody and you don't. Alright, let's say you go in a room, right? You in a room. It's about 6 people in there. Everybody got on Jordans except for like one person. Y'all gonna look at this dude like. It's like Jordan became like a belong shoe. Like if you don't have it, like you ain't it. It's like you less.
And would you say that's like an allegory for how not academics, how athletics is in the black culture? Like if you're not really good in athletics, it's like I rock with you, but it's like where that's at.
Right. It's like everybody is iffy. There's no such thing as a team no more. Most of these kids go for Dolo. They really go for Dolo. They really be by themselves. Like they don't give a fuck about the team.
So would you say that that sense of brotherhood is no longer in athletics?
No, it's there, but it's just not being promoted as strong.
What about mentorship?
Oh hell no. Mentorship is not even in there at all.
Really?
No. Because everybody is telling everybody what to do. Or they suggesting what you should do or what you shouldn't do. Ain't really no mentor.
Yeah, because some of in the research that I did, right, it said that with mentorship, the question becomes how does those around the athlete add the athletics to the identity? You don't want it to be, it becomes development versus replacement. Are you developing the athletics within who they are, or are you replacing their athletic identity with who they are? So it makes the question, am I a basketball player? Is that why I'm respected? It makes them focus solely on the athletic part of their identity to determine who they are.
Right.
And that goes into like their racial identity, which is why some of them will only think about being a representation or a stereotype and not just being a black man. Because it's like everything you do now, you're thinking about your basketball identity affecting your blackness rather than your blackness just being who you is.
You no longer worry about black. You worry about him got a nickname.
So, and one of the overall themes that I came to learn was that in all these aspects, and even including the next aspect I will ask you about, the environment matters. Because you can have your coach can say, I believe in you, but then your coach can also tell you, you dumb motherfucker, you didn't do the right shit, get him in. And it now becomes development versus replacement. And that becomes like that sense of conditional love that sports has a lot of that is really negative in the black community in general.
Well, to compare the two, comparing the two is kind of one and the same. Tough love at home, tough love on the court. Like I said, they don't want thinkers. They want players. So how are you going to play ball with your client when it's time to do the work?
Do you think the mentality of toughness breeds toxic masculinity in sports?
Yeah. Yeah. And niggas be tough for no reason. But it's always a chain of command though.
Like a hierarchy.
Right.
Do you think that is also negative in the environment of sports? Especially with like young African American boys?
What you mean negative?
Like, does it set a bad standard of how to carry yourself? Especially for like, no matter which tier you consider yourself on, low or high, does it set a bad standard for how you carry yourself through life? Because this toxic hierarchy of toughness goes from top to bottom. So if you're not at the top, you're at the bottom. And if you're at the bottom, you might constantly be fighting to get to the top, if not comfortable where you're at, or considered to be where you're at. What do you know that before?
So basically, you acting as a nigga that don't feel he tough enough to affect him throughout life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part of male ego. Because tough nigga, he always gonna be the tough nigga. Nobody can do this, he do that. He did this, he do that. Word on mama, he gonna do this, he gonna do that. He a tough nigga. And at the end of the day, he don't know he putting his own life in danger. Trying to be tough. And what to promote toughness. Now, in another form of toughness, to be positive, to always turn away the negative. Now that's one up. That's when you up. When you're able to tell niggas like, nah, get the fuck out of here, I ain't with it.
Like sports teaches you
Moving
that,
out.
that consistently, that
Right.
I'm good.
Right. And on the opposite end, to build up your teammate. Nah, nigga, we ain't gonna do that. We gonna get up, we gonna do these 4 laps, we gonna get this running, we gonna complete this practice, we gonna do. So it works both ways. It's just what you use it for.
Yeah.
But how they pushing it towards the negative. If you look at mostly every athlete now, they mostly on some isolation type shit.
That's interesting, because a lot of people say it's buddy now.
It's only buddy to the big dogs.
Like an oligarchy, essentially.
Mm.
Nah.
Like how you see Michael Jordan only speak to certain amount of niggas, he don't speak to LeBron.
Yeah.
Right. We the niggas that's in the game, so we only gonna speak to each other. We only fuck with each other. I ain't fucking nobody less than that. You know what I'm saying? If you 100, I'm 100, why we gonna fuck with a 90% nigga? And that's how it go.
So it's like,
But it looks buddy, but I ain't gonna say it looks buddy because it is, but it's only to a certain extent. Like everybody got their own inside crew.
so it's kind
You
of
got a crew within the crew.
So it's kind of like in sports, it breeds this type of masculinity where it's like, I can only respect those that I deem on my level, whereas and I don't respect everybody.
Right. Right. You can see it in the game. You can see it in every game played. You can see it. It's always that one player that don't respect the other team. Sometimes don't even respect a player on their own team. Like you see it. You know who was good for that? Westbrook.
That's crazy because he just retired.
Westbrook was good for that.
With that he don't respect certain players.
We don't respect certain players.
Do you think it's because of work ethic or simply just because of who he
Personal
is?
thing, just because who he is.
Oh.
We feel he Westbrook.
The alpha mentality.
Yeah, you got the alpha mentality.
Do you think the alpha mentality is like one of the negative things that have in
Alpha
sports?
mentality is trash. To be an alpha, you need betas. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be an alpha without a beta. Because you need something to lead.
You need followers.
You need followers. You need a pack. Betas need alphas. Because they don't lead. They don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
They're not organized. Or as daring as an alpha. Sigmas don't need none of that shit. Dolo. Out for dolo. All day, every day. We don't need no followers. We don't need to follow nobody. We don't need to ask nobody shit. We don't want to ask nobody shit. We doing our own thing. That's what they leave out. They'll tell you alpha and beta, but they ain't gonna tell you about siblings. They'll say alpha, beta, omega. But they ain't gonna tell you about siblings because they don't want you to be on your own. They don't want you to learn shit that they ain't gonna know that you learn.
Because the lone wolf, even though they say it's not meant to survive long, it learned on its own how to survive.
Because he's a sigma. He don't follow a pack. He don't want a pack. He's good on his own.
And do you think that pack mentality in sports is more dangerous or more beneficial?
In what form?
Dangerous in how it makes people want to have followers, and beneficial in how it can make people unite for a common cause.
Oh, on the influence factor.
Well, you can get a pack.
It don't matter.
You get a pack, it don't matter, but
It's what you doing with your pack, though. That counts.
I mean, you think oftentimes it turns into a negative form of leadership because the one
Yeah.
alpha.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not the one alpha. It's not the one alpha. All the time.
Mm.
It could be a beta that's trying to come up as an alpha. It can cause disturbance in certain shit. So the pack, the fact that you want to have the pack mentality in that situation is not good at all.
And having young black boys around that mentality just breeds more negativity for those who don't even go into sports, just in general going into life.
Right. Idolization.
It's crazy because one of the TED Talks I listened to, a nigga named, but they're not calling him a nigga, but academic Brandon Campbell, he had a TED Talk where he said black people should stop watching and participating in sports to save black boys. Saying that it creates a false sense of idolization.
I just said that.
Right? That leads to false hope. And
crazy.
he pointed to his own example of how he was in love with the Dallas Cowboys. And this was in the prime when they was winning and winning.
Oh, he had an upset?
Right? And he realized, looking back on it, how much faith he put into this team and how devastating it was to him when they even lost one game. But why did he have so much hope for this one team? Why was this one sport so important to him? And he dialed it down to it's a socialization of black boys into sports and overall just like idolization that is not necessary in the black community or not needed, and is forcing black boys into pitfalls of their identity, their masculinity, their race, and limiting themselves to certain opportunities that they can definitely advance further in.
That sound like you.
It do sound like my mother. I hope she don't come up here interrupting. This is a good episode. But what?
That's exactly what it is, though.
Mm.
That's exactly what it is.
And it's like
I think
it becomes.
she's trying to call you.
No, she not. It becomes a naturally. It's like, are you naturally athletic or are you intelligent?
Intelligent is the know how. Being athletic is physical. Intelligence is mental. So it's a difference of playing basketball than knowing how to play basketball. It's the difference between playing football and knowing how to play football.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Some people play football just think it's just catching the ball, running up and down the field. You know, that's it right there.
Mm.
But then it's the knowledge of running the lines, running the play.
It's like people create the dumb
running
jock
the cross
narrative.
pattern. So you probably know the game of football, but do you know how to play football? It's two different things.
Do you believe the dumb jock narrative was more incorporated for the black man? Because I want to point back to a study that was taken before one of the first Olympics.
I don't know, because anything that got introduced about a dumb jock was always a white dude. The first time we ever heard the phrase dumb jock, it was always a white dude. Always over cocky white dude that didn't know much and they just used him just for his muscle and his stamina and shit. That's all he was good for, the dumb jock. It was like you getting rewarded for being used and shit, but he didn't know it. Like they give him little things.
So it's more of a trope fit for white men.
Right.
Now,
That's how I got introduced.
Now, another question I asked, right, that somewhat relates to that. Would you say in sports is the only space that Caucasian people or the Caucasian male allows the black man to dominate? And I asked this because a specific study that was taken before, I believe,
Allow?
it was before the
You
Olympics.
dominate.
Well, not allowed, right? But not allowed. Allowed not the right word, but I'm pointing to a study that was taken in one of the early Olympics where it examined West African runners will dominate in that aspect because
Oh, the little pygmy niggas?
Mhm.
Ain't nobody out running the little pygmy niggas. What you talking about? Ain't nobody out running them niggas. Forrest Gump ain't out running them niggas, boy. Hell no. Ain't nobody doing that. The nigga on the run from police is not out running them. Them little pygmy niggas? Hell no.
But what I'm trying to say is like, do you feel like when it comes to athletics, it is the only space where white people accept a black person being dominant?
Yeah. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it goes back to what I said. They want that. They want you. They don't want you to think, man. They don't want you to have your brain. They rather let you have your physicality instead of your mind, man. Like, yeah, you could be strong as shit, but we need you dumb. We need you to do shit and don't question it.
Brandon Campbell, who I watched the TED Talk on, he compared it to the circus.
Yeah. We need you to do shit. And don't ask us why. Just do it for the entertainment.
Do you ever have a moment like that when you play sports?
Like what?
Like coach asks you to do something and it's like clearly,
And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
yeah, like it don't make
Yeah.
sense, but it was like for
Yeah.
entertainment purpose. Looking back on
Yeah.
it,
I was like, get the fuck out of here. I ain't doing that. Yeah.
do you have a black coach or a white coach?
White coach.
Do you think it would have been different with a black coach?
Maybe so. Maybe so. Because back then, black coaches was trying to run their own thing.
Mm.
But you still had some of them house nigga coaches that was just, still following the white man blueprint. Shit ain't working.
Do you think in a lot of the current culture of sports, right? And then going back to what I was always saying, it's the environment. Do you think they breed any type of healthy environment to create healthy players?
Yeah. Overall, yeah. That's what they want. They want you healthy, so they're going to create.
But I'm talking about like not just physically healthy, because that's them. They want you to be healthy for a
Talking about
certain
mentally
purpose.
healthy. all that. They want you healthy. They just don't want you to think. That's all it is. It's like they want the perfect human robot when it comes to certain type of shit. Like if you able to obey orders to the T, you're perfect. You're perfect. Without asking, without questioning why, who, what, when, where, you can go and execute these orders we gave you. That's perfect.
I
They
think
don't want you to have critical thinking.
this might be a crazy way to think of it. I think of it as a Captain America complex thing. Like you want the perfect soldier that'll follow all your
that's
rules.
what they really want.
That he can follow all your rules and exceed expectations.
That's what they really want when it comes to
Black athletes.
Yeah, that's what they really want.
And
Because
you
the
can
white
tell-
athletes, they already fall in line. Like, if you notice, most of the Caucasian athletes, right?
Mhm.
They don't really do too much. You had a few breakout ones.
Johnny
That, you know,
Manziel.
goddamn did they thing and shit. Like they shine. Like, yo, that white boy nice. But most of them, they don't go out of the role that they given. They stay in their role. They wait for the ball. They pass the ball. They get the ball. They shoot when they supposed to shoot. They get the rebound, kick it out. If you look at some of these white guys that be on the team, and you look at they stats, you be like, get the fuck out of here. This nigga had such and such rebounds and 8 steals. Where I didn't even see him do that. Because the focus is not on him. The focus is on the motherfucking black nigga, the superstar, the nigga that got a monkey shine and shit. So you keep your eyes on him. Not knowing this white dude done dropped 18, 12, and 8. You like, damn.
So it goes back to what I was saying earlier with the article I was talking about from Jonathan Howe when he says black boys are naturally socialized into sports, and this creates a higher attention span that people have on them.
Right. It goes back to, it's funny, Chinese flicks, karate flicks.
How? Break that down to me.
How the world view most black men, black youth, when it comes to sports. If you have a certain build, you should be doing this sport. If you this certain height, you should be doing this sport. Regardless of fact, the overall view is we should be playing sports. Now, what I meant when I say Chinese flicks, karate movies, the minute you see a Chinese or Korean nigga, first thing you think of is what? A karate movie.
So it's that media socialization, what you should
Right.
associate yourself with.
Right. When you first see them, that's the first thing you think.
And
Who's
that's
the-
why he
what
said
you
we
call
should
a
stop
Chinese or
watching.
Korean nigga, ling ling.
That's fucked up. Yeah.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So it's not something that you naturally did. This is what's doctrinated to people. So when they view us, yeah, of course they're gonna view us as these niggas should be playing ball.
So it's like
These
on
should
one.
be- because that's what they got. That's what was projected to them about
Yeah.
the black youth.
And for us, it'd be a dude. It'd be the facade of like seeing another black man succeed. So I want to do that. But then also, it's like you're socialized to want to see him succeed, so that you can do the same thing and not go into any other lane of success.
Right. You can, well, most of the time, there's very few people out here that really want you to succeed. They're going to push you to succeed. Most of the time, you have people that's going to try to puppeteer you. You know what I'm saying? Make you work for them without you even feeling them pulling strings and shit.
Do you feel like a lot of young black athletes get trapped into being puppeteers?
Yeah. Yeah. That's why when you was talking about the mentor shit, I'm like, yeah, it's puppeteering. Like, you know, you send somebody down there to test the puppet, how the strings work. Oh, you need a little extra lift on the arm. We got to cut the leg a little short, the line on the leg so he can move properly. And then the puppeteer come, and now he play with the puppet. All right, all right. It's the same fucking thing. They send a mentor down there, work with the puppet, see how the puppet move, what the puppet can do, and then the owner come down there. Let me see what you did with my puppet. I asked you to build me a puppet. Let me see what you did with it.
And do you think that's why a lot
It's
of
12 players on the team. One nigga become a star.
well outside of basketball, do you
And
think?
you gonna tell me that's not a puppet?
Well, outside of basketball, do you think why that's why in football a lot of players who weren't getting puppeteered and who were opposed to that and opposed to just strictly fitting their role? Do you think that's why a lot of them get ostracized and have to wait to get in the Hall of Fame? Like Terrell Owens should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he had to wait a year.
Yeah, of course. It's
Chad Ochocinco is not a Hall of Famer
It's
yet.
what you call that? It's office disagreements. It's office disagreements, man. You know, whatever he disagreed to, they prolonged his reward. There should be a lot of athletes inside the Hall of Fame for football, but the way the sports industry works, you know,
Not every nigga's allowed to come.
right? And their money is based off of your favorite player.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate.
Like, you think they ain't make money off of the Knicks, joint?
The Knicks definitely need a bunch of money. That's not even a question. The amount of money the Knicks probably made is astronomical.
New York.
Mondami definitely made some type of money. Do you think the Knicks was a good representation of black leadership, teamwork, and brotherhood?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially for African Americans. Because Wemby, no offense, he's a foreign black man. But to see a team of African American black men, for the most part, win the way they won, that has to be a lot of good for a representation of the sport of basketball, right?
Yeah. What made it good for basketball really is that none of them left. They stayed. They fought. They came out as champions. They ain't pull a LeBron. They ain't pull a KD. They ain't say, yo, fuck this, I'm out, going over here. The nigga said, nah, nigga, we going back and we gonna get it. So for the
It took us 4 years to
it
get
don't
here.
matter, but the youth that how you say that's inspired by them, yeah, they want to keep a brotherhood.
They're gonna understand that
They
it
gonna
takes.
understand,
It's less about just your identity, but team.
right? Because that was a teamwork effort. That wasn't just Jalen Brunson. That was a team effort.
Do you think football, right? Shifting from the Knicks, do you think football breeds a mentality too much of toughness equaling your manhood?
Well, that comes from testosterone and the sport itself. The sport itself is a dominating sport. Like, you got men on field clashing against each other. So it's basically a sport of power and skill. Your defense line, the offensive line. You know, the skill comes from when the quarterback got to throw the ball, the running back got to know the plays, the wide receiver got to know the plays. So they got to know their skills. And the strength is, like I said, on your defensive line and the offensive line. These dudes is clashing each other all day. And then the game is a rough contact sport. So I guess in that environment, you have no other choice but to be, you know, tough and aggressive.
But does it have to breed into how you view your manhood?
Yeah, because we look at it as a sport. That's their job. And they do that job season.
Now, what about for the young men who aren't professional yet? Do you think that's a bad, healthy mentality to have?
the youth with their attitude and the impulsiveness that they have going, yeah, that's a bad thing to mix in because now they feel they have a certain sense of toughness and right now the world ain't like that no more. Not everybody is, ready to fight and do all that.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, yeah, I wouldn't want that.
But for professionals, it's understandable because that's their job. That's how they feed their family.
Professionals, yeah, that's their job.
Because feeding your family goes into your manhood for a lot of people.
Yeah. That's a part of, well, it's not part of your manhood because there's men out here with no family.
Yeah.
So it's not part of your manhood. It's just one of them things that as a man with a family, you should do and supposed to do is support your family, make sure they fed. But as it being part of your manhood, no. No, because there's men out here with no family. So I'll say if you got family, then yes. If you don't, it don't apply. Let it fly.
Was there any aversions of fear that you had with me playing sports?
Just brain damage. If you wanted to go into football.
I think if I was more educated on football, I would play football. Knowing that I could play the defense side.
Yeah, but that's the side that gets you hurt. That's the shit that gets you the concussions. The defense line and the offensive line.
I don't want
got to clash.
You know what's crazy?
You got to clash against another dude. You here it is, you 265. The nigga they line you up against, and he probably 310. And you got to clash against this nigga every time y'all go and line up.
You know, that's maybe...
And it's not just one 310 nigga.
It's
You clashing against like other niggas too on other teams, other weight classes. But ain't nobody under 200.
See, for me, I wasn't trying to play that D line. I would have worked my way down to play safety. Be a bigger safety.
So your body just clashing with niggas just. How many teams in football again?
I want to say 30, maybe 30, somewhere in
30,
32.
32?
Yeah.
And just think about it. That's 31 other players you got to clash against. Maybe 2-3 times a season.
I see why it's fun. See, but that's maybe the crazy side of pride and male ego. Like, I see why that would be fun. Like, basketball, playing ball was a competition of skill. Boxing, even though you never let me get in
You
the
can't
ring.
play that.
Yeah, you never let me get in the ring with boxing, but you let me
You
train.
can't play that. Look, you can play baseball. You can play soccer. You can play tennis. You can play basketball. You can play football. You can even play golf.
Yeah,
You
but
ain't
boxing
playing
you
boxing.
can't play. And I think that's another thing too. Like, having you as a dad, I had mentorship to teach me how to properly interact with sports. Like, boxing, you never let me touch a ring, but you definitely trained me in boxing. But I think that gave me a healthy relationship with it. I understood there's a controlled anger behind boxing.
Right.
You
People
can't-
that box anger. We have a certain amount of anger in us. We have a certain amount of aggression in us to do that sport.
That you
ain't
don't-
something you just wake up and be like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna go box. No, you just don't do that.
When did you spot that I had that level of aggression?
When you hit the door. When you hit the door that day. I'm like, look at this. I'm like, why this nigga did this to this door? Like, man, I look at him, I ain't fixing that door. He said, I ain't fixing that door. You ain't fixing that door. She's like, I know, piss him off again. I said, yeah, I hope not. Like, get off that nigga back. But that's what it is, though, when you get that aggression. People have that certain aggression, so that's why they always tell you, you can't play boxing. That shit ain't for laughs and nah. A nigga trying to take your head off and hurt you.
And you trying to do the same.
And you trying to do the same thing. There ain't no playing in that. Now, I should say a lot of youth nowadays should go and do that.
Yes, they need to.
Since you got all this aggression,
It's a control. It really is a. It's a.
go and shoot the 5. What they say? What they say? Shoot the 30. Go shoot the 30. Go shoot the 60.
Because with boxing,
the 20.
what you gotta
Go
understand
shoot
with
it.
boxing, and I think like I said, the greatest lesson my pop told me about boxing, it is a controlled anger sport. As angry as you are, you cannot lose control because you lose your fucking head.
Right.
If you sitting there and you start swinging wild out of anger and you not calculating, because listen, that's where a lot of the power comes from. Of course, it comes from using your body, using your hips, your lower base. But it's that anger that you have behind every punch, especially when you put it into those power punches. You have to think. You have to time those. Anger is meant to be expressed not all the time, at certain times. So if you don't learn that or have that in a fight, you'll get knocked out very fast. It is a controlled space of anger because the anger cannot leave this fight nor be consistently present. You have to be calm. You have to be controlled. If you're not controlled,
Every
you'll lose
fight
fast.
ends when the time run out or till a nigga get knocked out. That's it.
What do you think is the? Do you think if the environment around sports became better, it'd be more of a positive space for black boys and black men in general? And do you think the race factor will ever disappear from athletics?
Nah. The race factor will never disappear due to the fact that there's so many races and everybody have their favorite player. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though over here, we probably, we always talk the Jordan, LeBron debate. Somewhere across seas,
Luka,
it's probably
Jokic
a Luka,
debate.
yeah, and
Dirk
and the
debate,
Dirk debate.
Giannis debate, because Giannis is from
Probably a
overseas.
Giannis debate. You know what I mean? So race will always play a factor because the demographics of the game. Will it be a bad thing? Who knows? But race will always be a factor in sports. Just because of the sports. Even over here, you got New Yorkers, New Jersey. They be like, fuck New York. They be like, fuck New Jersey. So,
It's like, so it's like, goes into the question. It's like an environment. It's going to be hard to change the culture of sports essentially, because the environment is so ingrained into the culture of sports. Where you from, who you are,
right.
that goes into how you play.
Right. That's why you always have that, what they call a home field advantage and all that. Because you got that team from over there, that team from over there, and that team from over there. So it's basically like a territorial thing.
It's like how you would say like New Jersey and New York Hoopers are very shifty, ball handle heavy, isolation score heavy. And then like Cali's similar but more team style. Yeah. A more run and gun style that's like fast paced, passing. But overall, Pop, do you think that sports is a healthy environment for young black men?
can. It is, because it helps them. It helps them elevate. It helps them step up from different things. They can always use sport as a step ladder to something else in life, like Shaq.
And it doesn't need to necessarily hold them back in certain areas if the environment is completely positive or positive in the necessarily needed areas.
It's healthy. It teaches them. Well, if they're willing, it teach them business and how to handle money in certain lifestyles.
And focus.
Yeah, it's healthy to an extent. But it's also dangerous as well.
So there's the answer. Sports can be a healthy space for black boys, but it also has pitfalls that they can easily fall into if not guided correctly.
Right.
That's all I got for y'all today.